Welcome to the 7W Data Insight, the daily briefing that helps you separate real AI signals from background noise. If you want these insights in your inbox, subscribing to the newsletter is the easiest way to stay ahead. Now, let's connect today's dots. To be fair, this isn't pure speculation. Data centers are genuinely full. Vacancy rates are at historic lows, and utilization is high. The infrastructure is being used. But hyper-interconnected systems don't fail because of excess capacity. They fail because risk concentrates quietly until something breaks. Against that backdrop, Microsoft made a very different kind of statement. A $17.5 billion investment in India, paired with the deployment of 200,000 Copilot licenses across major IT services firms. This isn't experimentation. It's operational AI at workforce scale. Each partner is using Copilot differently: AI coaches, multi-agent operating models, internal dogfooding before client rollout. The common thread is maturity. AI here isn't a demo. It's a managed capability embedded into how work actually gets done. But scale also amplifies consequences, which brings us to trust. A breach at credit services provider 700 Credit exposed the personal data of 5.6 million Americans. Names, addresses, dates of birth, social security numbers, data tied directly to financial identity. For thousands of auto dealerships relying on this infrastructure, the issue isn't just reputational, it's regulatory, contractual, and legal. This is what happens when AI-driven systems become critical infrastructure. A single vulnerability doesn't stay technical, it becomes systemic. And Europe is watching all of this closely. The EU is now signaling potential adjustments to its AI and data regulations, including delays to high-risk AI rules until 2027. The stated goal is competitiveness. The tension is obvious. Reduce friction for innovation without giving up the regulatory credibility Europe has built. Put all of this together, and the pattern is clear. AI is leaving its experimental phase. Budgets are shifting towards CFO oversight. Accountability is replacing excitement. Transparency, governance, and cost discipline are becoming competitive advantages, not obstacles. The question for leaders now isn't whether AI will move fast. It will. The real question is whether your organization is building AI systems and partnerships that can survive scrutiny, shocks, and regulation when the cycle turns. That's the moment we're entering. And it's where the real winners will quietly separate themselves from the rest. Today's AI story isn't about a single model, policy, or deal. It's about a fault line that's becoming impossible to ignore: speed versus accountability, innovation versus control, and who ultimately carries the risk when AI scales faster than governance. Here's the shift. In the United States, AI regulation has moved from theory to confrontation. A new executive order from President Trump aims to centralize AI policy at the federal level and explicitly push back on state-led regulation. The message is clear: fewer constraints, faster innovation, global competitiveness first. But almost immediately, that message collided with reality. California pushed back hard, calling the move dangerous and defending its right to regulate AI within its borders. This doesn't freeze state laws overnight, but it does set the stage for legal challenges, regulatory uncertainty, and a long transition period where companies are stuck navigating overlapping rules. The signal for business is subtle but critical. Deregulation at the federal level doesn't remove exposure, it increases ambiguity. Companies still need to comply with state laws, while also preparing for DOJ and FTC actions that could redefine enforcement boundaries. In other words, the compliance burden doesn't disappear, it becomes harder to predict. Now zoom out, because something very different happened in parallel. While regulation debates heated up, AI2 released OLMO 3, a fully transparent large language model that represents a sharp turn in how AI can be built and shared. This isn't just another open-weight release. OLMO 3 exposes the entire process: training data, checkpoints, code, evaluations, everything needed to reproduce the model from scratch. This changes the conversation. Instead of trusting black boxes, researchers and enterprises can finally inspect how models are made, what trade-offs were chosen, and where bias or performance gaps emerge. The performance still trails top closed models, but here's the important part. The team showed that focusing on the top 5% of data quality outperformed simply throwing more data at the problem. That's a quiet lesson for enterprises spending millions on scale without questioning signal quality. Transparency isn't slowing progress here, it's redirecting it. This matters because it mirrors a deeper structural issue in AI economics that's now getting more attention. A recent analysis uncovered what's being called a $1 trillion circular financing loop. Major tech players invest in AI startups, which then use that capital to buy infrastructure and services from those same investors. On paper, revenue grows. In reality, money flows in a loop. The concern isn't fraud, it's fragility. If one major node stumbles, losses don't stay contained. They cascade. We've seen this movie before in the telecom crash of the late 1990s.